Welcome to the Wealth Embodied podcast. I'm your host, Brianna Faringer, an attorney, spiritual guide, and wealth activator. I'm here to help you align your mindset for abundance and break through any glass ceilings with money. If you're ready to embrace your highest calling, manifest with more ease, and create a life that feels lighter and more aligned, then let's dive in. Hello, welcome to the Wealth Embodied podcast. I'm your host, Brianna. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today's episode is about how to be in your body and why it matters. And this is a topic that I feel like I touch on in pretty much every episode because it's such an important part of, I just think living your life in general and being abundant is learning how to be in the body. And it's typically an area where a lot of people don't understand what that means. And I completely get that because I lived in my head for such a large portion of my life that understanding how to be in the body and why it was so important, I had no reference point for it because it was something I never did. And so now that I'm on the other side of it and I'm a lot more in the body, I'm definitely not in my body all the time. I think that's hard. I think it's definitely possible, but I do think it's hard. Particularly, it just depends on what kinds of things you have going on in your life. But it's certainly something I strive to do all the time. And I just know how significantly this one thing has changed how I feel about myself, how I feel in my body, how I feel overall in my life, and what a big change I know it can make in other people's lives. And I really wanted to talk about this, specifically because I did a workshop recently in person and somebody came up and asked me this. And I do think this is a question a lot of people have. And I do think a lot of people are afraid to ask it because it kind of seems like I think people have this belief that it should be easy to do. And it's really, I don't want to say that it's not, it's just that it takes practice like everything else. And I think if you are in your mind all the time, which we are programmed to do, it's really hard to recognize the part that your body plays. Like the thing that I've noticed a lot, and I think the way that I used to perceive it was like, from the neck up, my mind was controlling everything that happened in my life. And from the neck down is this body that's just simply a vehicle for me to move around in the world and basically move my brain around. And I appreciated it when it felt good, and I was mad at it when it felt bad, like if I would get sick. Or the times when I was having a lot of chronic health issues, I was really upset with my body and not wanting to be in it. And I now don't view my head and the rest of my body as separate components. I view them as one, but my body controls the show, my mind doesn't. That's not in every instance, and what I mean by that is, I practice as an attorney. I have to use my mind for that. That's unavoidable. I can't just use my intuition. I can't just rely on the messages I'm getting in the body or emotions or physical sensations to move through the world. I have a professional obligation to be using my mind. So that's a time where, for me, I can still be present to what I'm doing and can still be in the body, but my body is not guiding my decisions. My mind is. That's an exception for me now. Pretty much the rest of my life, I listen to what my body is telling me. And this is what I'm going to get into today. And I'm going to give you some very simple ways to do this. Things that I think are simple. If they're not, I think that you can use the examples that I give you today to figure out how to incorporate this into your life. Because it is really important. And if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, this is stupid, or I don't know how to be in my body, that's just not me. That's not true. That's a story. Being in your body, I can't even try to tell you how miraculously it can change your life. Your body is giving you so much information, and we shut it down and say, nope, I'm not going to listen to that. I'm going to listen to what my mind is telling me, unless this is just like a physical issue, like I don't feel good. I have the flu. I'm sick. I'm having a physical issue that's preventing me from living my life. That's when people focus on the body. Otherwise, they seem to be very disconnected from it, and it's because of the way we have been taught. We live in a very fast-paced world. Social media has certainly changed this significantly. People, before there was all of this distractions, before there was television, movies, social media, telephones, all this stuff that we have in our lives, people were very present. They were much more present. And it's because they didn't have all of the distractions that we have. And they also didn't have all of the pressure, or quite as much as we do in the world that we live in today. So that's what I'm going to talk about, how to be in your body and why it matters. And yeah, I mean, it can be very easy if you practice it, but if you don't practice this, it's going to be hard for you to figure out how to be in the body and why it's so important. I can only explain to you how it's changed my life, and I know how it has changed other people's lives, but until you go through it yourself, it doesn't make a lot of sense until you're like, oh, now I get it. And it does require you wanting to be in the body. It requires you practicing, and it does not have to take a lot of time. So, our society rewards thinking and doing over feeling and being. And that's one reason that people are so constantly in their minds. People also want to suppress emotions to avoid discomfort. Emotions are felt in the body, not in the head. We tend to have this belief that we think we are feeling a certain way, but how does it actually feel in the body? That's where the emotions are. Emotions are in the body, and most people are moving through the world trying to avoid uncomfortable emotions. And when you do that, you are not only blocking uncomfortable emotions, you are blocking the good and comfortable ones. Most people do not realize that this is happening. You can't just filter out the bad and keep all the good. It doesn't work that way. You're filtering out both. And so what happens is you don't ever really experience the high highs. You also don't experience the low lows. You might just kind of stay in this middle range and just be riding like the average kind of meh feeling all the time. But the more you are willing to let uncomfortable emotions come in, the more you can also live in the really high emotions, happiness, joy, the things that really are what we were here to experience. And then technology and being so busy are the things that pull us outward rather than being inward. And so this can show up in a lot of ways: feeling numb, disconnected, restless, overthinking, constantly having thoughts go through the mind, second guessing decisions, missing body cues like tension, fatigue, hunger, and joy. Those are things that I think people normalize. So their body is actually trying to tell them something, like you're fatigued. And the thought is, oh, this is just how I feel all the time. This is normal. Like for me, I have a stressful job. A lot of people do. But being an attorney is a particularly stressful job. And when I was practicing full time, I would tell myself, well, this is just part of the job. It's stressful. This is just part of the job. You're going to be tired. That's a story. It's not true. That's a story that I let myself live by because I just didn't know any differently. I know now that when my body was telling me it's tired, it's because I needed to change the way I was approaching doing things. I needed to change things not only in my mind, but how I felt in the body about certain things. And so the other thing is, when you're really out of the body, this will tend to show up kind of like dissociation. So being very forgetful, being clumsy. This is the kind of thing like where people will leave their keys in their freezer, like doing stuff like that. I don't do stuff like that very often, but I will have occasions where I'm like, oh my gosh, Brianna, where is your mind? Like, what is going on? And I will have things where like I'm being clumsy, I'll drop things, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's too much going in my mind. And a lot of times what's happening is usually I'm tired. That's what I've noticed for myself, is that when I'm doing these things where I feel very out of the body, just doing things on like autopilot, like sometimes I've done this not recently, but like a month or two ago, I was driving home from work and I actually needed to stop somewhere, and it was somewhere important. It was like I had to be there a certain time. I don't remember if I was mailing something, but it was along those lines. I was like, I have to go drop this thing off. And I just drove right home, and I came inside and I was like, oh my God, I didn't do the one thing that I needed to do. It's stuff like that where you're just in autopilot, and it's like you're so out of the body, you're not even paying attention to what's going on. These are the things I'm talking about, but that's going to be more on the I would say the far end of it, when you're really out of your body, for the most part, most people are just in their minds all the time. So they're not paying attention to what their body is telling them from a physical sensation perspective, unless it's like, okay, I'm sick, or oh, my leg hurts, I can't walk or run. Like these are the cues people will pick up on are only physical issues in the body, but they're not recognizing physical sensations or emotional messages that we're getting, because again, people don't want to feel emotions. So what does it actually mean to be in your body? To me, being present in the now is being in your body. So being present is not thinking about the past, not thinking about the future, just being in the here and now, which is a place most people are not. We are often thinking about something that has happened in the past, or something that we have to do in the future, or worried about something that has to be done in the future. And so we're not just here in the here and now. Being in the past is a prison. That's what I call it. The past is over with. There's nothing you can do about it. You can use it as a basis for doing things differently moving forward. But when you are constantly in the past about something, even if it's like today, like say you had a bad day and you're going over something that happened over and over and over and over again, that's not going to be helpful. I used to do this all the time. That stuff is not helpful. I thought it was, but it's not. It was just what I was so used to doing. But if you find yourself being caught in things that have already happened, or things that have not yet happened but are in the future, you are not being in the present. Being in the present is just being present to whatever experience you are having. A lot of people think this means meditation. Meditation is a form of presence. It's not the only way to be present. So if you do not like meditation, or you've tried it and you don't like it, or you're scared to try it, don't worry about it. You do not need to meditate to be in the present. All that being in the present means is you are paying attention to the thing you're doing right now without being in the past or the present, or being completely in your mind. So even just watching television can be present. If you are actually present to the show you're watching, I can tell you a lot of people nowadays are not present to what even just watching TV. And the reason is because they're often on their phones at the same time, or they're working at the same time, or they're talking on the phone at the same time, or they're doing something else at the same time. To me, if you want to try to get more present in the now, and being in your body, it's focusing on one thing at a time, one activity, not multitasking. I did an entire podcast episode on how multitasking ruins your life, and I stand by that. Multitasking takes you out of the body so quickly, and we get so used to have so many things going on, and we tell ourselves, oh, I can do all of these things at once. Look at all these things I'm getting done. I'm being super productive. No. Multitasking prevents you from being present. I absolutely hate multitasking. I used to wear it as a badge of honor. Now when I catch myself doing it, I'm like, nope, you got to do one thing at a time. So noticing, where am I doing too many things? You can do one thing at a time and still get things done. I'll give you an example. I've talked about this before. Exercising and or doing something like movement, like walking. If you are doing that and you are listening to music, listening to a book, listening to a podcast, you're not in the body. It's very hard to be in the body when you're doing more than one thing. So I'm not telling you not to do that, but what I'm telling you is if you are going to try to be present doing something, going out and walking outside is an amazing way of being present. But don't do something else at the same time. Don't listen to music. Don't listen to a podcast. Don't be afraid of the quiet or the nature. Being in the present is being present to what's happening in the moment around you without distractions, like an additional distraction. So like when I go walking, I don't even bring headphones with me. I don't answer my phone. The only time I look at my phone is to check the time. I do walk my dog. Yes. So that's like, don't consider that two things at once, because I'm really engaged in the walk with him and being present to it. But if you just walked around the block, you don't have to go for a long walk. Walk around the block, walk to the end of the block and walk back. It can be 1 minute. Just do it without something else happening at the same time. Watch the people walking by. Listen to the birds, listen to the wind, listen to the trees rustling, listen to the quiet, whatever it is. That's being present. Paying attention to the sensations that are happening in your body. That's being present. So not shutting down emotions as they're coming up. And that's kind of, I mean, I don't want to get too far into that because processing emotions is another topic that's so big, and you really do have to be able to process emotions to be in your body. If you are constantly suppressing emotions, it's going to be very hard for you to be in the body. The other thing is you're probably going to develop chronic health issues because it's stored in the body. When you don't process emotions, it gets trapped in there. Your body can't digest them and move them out. And then they just get trapped in the body somewhere, and you will inevitably have some form of chronic pain, even if you don't recognize it. It could be chronic fatigue, chronic anxiety, a lot of different things, but it will manifest some way in the body if you're not processing emotions. So the more used to listening to the emotions and being willing to sit with them, the more you're going to be able to be in the body. And there's a time and place for everything. So I'm not telling you, like, if you feel like the need to start crying in a work meeting, that you should do that. I'm not sure that that's appropriate or professional in that moment. It might be on this based on the circumstances, but it might not be. And so that's kind of like, hey, I'm going to put a pin in this and come back to it later. I'm not just going to suppress it and say, don't feel that emotion because it's uncomfortable. Noticing the breath. Just focusing on your breath with nothing else will get you in the body. I tell people, just like, if you are feeling stressed, close your eyes and just focus on breathing in, breathing out. I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. Just acknowledging that my body's breathing in, out. You don't need to focus on anything else. And in fact, you can't. If you're focused on your breath in that moment, you can't be thinking about the task that you have to do next. Noticing if your breath is short or if it's longer. A short breath is associated with anxiety. Are your shoulders tight? Is your neck tight? Are you clenching your stomach? Do you have tears that are coming up? Are you feeling joy? Like, these are things that are felt in the body. And understanding that emotions live in the body, they're not good or bad. Just recognizing that emotions are in the body and not in the mind is going to help you be more in the body. If this is scary to you, I can just tell you, as somebody who's gone through this process myself and who was terrified to feel emotions because I was emotionally neglected as a child and didn't learn how to do that, I am so thankful that I have gone through the process and I continue to practice being in the body and processing emotions because of how significantly it's changed my life. And again, how significantly I feel differently in the body. And we resist this a lot because we have a fear of discomfort, a fear of being sad, a fear of being angry. We have this belief that we can think our way out of feeling, which you cannot do. You can make yourself believe that you're doing that, but you're not actually doing it. Again, if you are not processing emotions, they get stored in the body and they manifest themselves in physical ways that are hard to figure out down the road. Because as I've talked about a lot on here, I've had a lot of chronic health issues. I know a lot of people that have had a lot of chronic health issues, and the large majority of the people that I have talked about chronic health issues with, they have changed them by changing their beliefs and changing the way that they process emotions. It's just one of the main ways it's going to keep your body feeling good. The cost of avoiding this is you are numb to everything. But when you start to numb the discomfort, you're also going to numb joy, love, and excitement. That doesn't mean you won't feel those things in your life. It's just you're not going to feel them at the level that you could if you were willing to let some of those other uncomfortable emotions in. It's just like, there's this duality. You can't have dark without light. You can't have love without grief. Those things go hand in hand. They just do. And if you're always trying to avoid the dark and be in the light, it's not going to work. You have to recognize that there's ups and downs. You're going to feel dark sometimes. You're going to feel really light sometimes. And that being able to go back and forth between the two is what's going to bring you the greatest amount of joy. The reward of being present is just greater self-awareness, having emotional resilience, and accessing true, authentic joy. These are the things that a lot of people are not experiencing because they are so in their minds all the time. And I'm going to give you some very, very simple practices that you can come back to. Okay, so the breath. This is the best one, by the way, in my opinion. If you don't know how to be in the body, this can be 1 minute. It can be 30 seconds. Try this every single day, just for 1 minute. Everyone has 1 extra minute they can find to do this. You have time to do this. This goes along with other stories that people have about how they can't change their lives. Yes, you can. You have 1 minute a day. If you can take 1 minute a day and try to be in your body, you will start to train yourself to be more in the body than you realize. So, doing a breath check-in. Noticing your breath. Is it shallow or deep? Is it in the chest or in the belly? And just being like, close your eyes. I'm paying attention to my breath. In, out. In, out. Just recognizing and having gratitude for the fact that your body breathes all day without you having to consciously do it. That's a very great way of being in your body. Doing a body scan. Again, I always close my eyes because I feel like it allows me to focus, but close your eyes and just say, I'm going to bring some awareness to how I'm feeling in my body, and I'm just going to do a scan from head to toe, or you can do from toe to head, whichever you feel more aligned with. Do whatever you want. But how am I feeling in my head? Am I noticing any sensations in my head, in my forehead, in my face, in my neck, going all the way down through the body? And just asking those questions. That's being in the present. Different forms of movement: stretching, walking, dancing. If you're going to stretch, just like, let's say if you're doing a stretch on the ground, noticing how it feels in the body to be stretching. Do this in quiet. Again, don't do this with music. Don't do this with things distracting you in the background. Sit down on the ground, do your stretch. Notice the ground beneath your body. Notice where you feel tension. This can be for 30 seconds. Walking, like I said, if you don't want to walk in silence, like I have a lot of people tell me, I like to walk and listen to podcasts. Great. At the end of your walk or the beginning of your walk, can you take a couple minutes and turn it off and just be present? That's what I always ask people. Just try to be more present. Dancing. You can dance to music. You can also dance without music, but I would say if you're going to dance and you're going to have music on, just being willing to let your body move. And I always suggest closing your eyes, just being willing to let your body move freely and just seeing how it feels. When I move my body, I start to get a lot of energy moving. I can feel it moving in my body. It kind of starts to go everywhere. These are things that you can notice if you have an intention of doing that and you give yourself a few minutes to do it. Feeling your emotions. Instead of labeling something, I'm this, like I'm angry, saying I feel angry and noticing where that is in the body. Is it in your jaw? Is it in your neck? Is it in your shoulders? Is it in your abdomen? I carry a ton of stress in my lower abdomen and I did not realize it. I developed chronic pelvic pain as a result of that. I know a lot of people, particularly women, hold a lot of stress in that same area. So I just tell people, just for a moment, just stop and just breathe into that area. Close your eyes and just see your breath going into that area of tightness. If it's your shoulders, then just focus on that and just recognize, okay, I'm breathing in. All of that air is going into this tightness and helping alleviate it. Enjoying your coffee or your tea in the morning or whatever you do. Like if you get up, like I drink coffee in the morning, I used to do that really quickly. I used to make my coffee. I used to take it in the bathroom, jump in the shower. I was getting ready at the same time, enjoying my coffee. I don't do that anymore. It made me mad because I love coffee and I really felt like I wasn't enjoying it. Now I make my coffee and I sit on the couch for 30 minutes every day, no matter what. I give myself 30 minutes. I leisurely drink my coffee. Sometimes I listen to a book. Sometimes I read the news. Sometimes I meditate. Sometimes I do breath work, whatever. But I allow myself time to enjoy my cup of coffee. You don't need 30 minutes. You can do this with 1 minute. Just sit in quiet for a minute and drink your coffee. Take a sip. Recognize like, oh, this tastes so good. Oh, I feel the warmth. Or if it's a cold coffee, oh, I can feel the cold in my mouth. And just really being present to the experience of having coffee or tea or whatever you do in the morning. 1 minute. Do this in the shower or in a bath. If you know, a lot of people will say that they don't have time to do these things because they have kids. If you have kids or you have young kids in particular, I recognize that finding 1 minute to yourself can be hard. You may not even get to take a shower by yourself, but if you do, close the door, say, I'm going to take a 1 minute shower, and just be present to the shower. Feel the water rushing over your skin. Is it warm? Is it cold? How does it feel? Don't think about all of the millions of things that you have to do next. The shower should not be a checklist for your day. And I'm just saying this because this is a really great way to be present. Taking a shower and being present, recognizing your fingers going through your hair, feeling your hand rubbing soap on your body. These are easy things to do. You can incorporate this into your daily practice so easily without having to really change much. And the other thing is, presence is what you make it. And I think I've talked about this before, but one of the things that brings me the most present is going to movies in the movie theater. You have to be present to a movie in the movie theater. You can't have your phone out. You can't be checking your email. You can't check your phone. You're not even allowed to. When I'm in a movie, I'm fully there. I love movies. And so when I go to the movies, I feel so present. I feel so relaxed. I feel like I meditated for 2 hours. And that's why I'm saying meditation is not the only form of presence. There's a lot of ways to be present. If meditation is one of them for you, great, do it. And if you want to try meditation, you can do that for 1 minute. You don't have to do it for 30 minutes. You can do it for 1 minute. Try all of these different things for 1 minute a day and start to recognize in your life, where do I feel present? For me, it's at the movie theater. The other place is when I'm playing golf. Even though I'm doing something that's like movement and there's other people around and stuff, I'm so present to the experience. I love being outside. I love playing golf. I love spending time with my friends. I love being in nature. I don't look at my phone. Any activity that takes me away from my phone is a win and is something that usually brings me into the present. So I'm just trying to tell you that this is so easy to do. You just have to be aware of doing it and have the intention that you want to. So I gave you a lot of different practices, but think about the things that make you present. What are things that bring you joy? I had somebody tell me that it was really exercise. And I said, that's awesome. And I said, when you go to the gym, do you listen to music? And this person said, no. And I was like, that is amazing. He's one of the few people that I've talked to in a long time who doesn't go to the gym and listen to music at the same time. I'm not telling you not to do that, by the way, but can you just turn it off for a minute or two and just be present to the exercise that you're doing? Just how it feels in the body, or your breath, even if on a break in between sets or in between exercises, whatever the thing you're doing. Just finding ways to give yourself presence can make such an enormous difference. It's I can't even tell you, it's insane. So just again, this is practice, not perfection. Everything takes practice. If you have a story that you can't do this, you have to change that story. You can. It just takes a little bit of time and practice to do it. I didn't think I could meditate. I used to try it all the time and I'm like, I don't get this. I don't like it. I love meditation now. To me, it's one of my go-to things that I absolutely love it so much. And I will do that whenever I just feel like I need to reset things, and it doesn't have to be long. Sometimes I will do longer meditations, but I like the ones that are 5 to 10 minutes. And that's what I mean. The more that you practice this and the more you start to welcome presence in your life, the more you may start to like doing things that you didn't before. And trying new things is going to help bring you into the present if you're not in your mind. The body is always communicating with you. It's your job to listen to it, whether it's an emotional message that you're getting or physical sensation. And I encourage you to just try one practice today, just one of these things I talked about. Pick one that works. Be present in the shower, be present to your cup of coffee, stretch, walk, move, dance, focus on the breath. All of these things are super easy to do. And before I close out, I do want to just have a quick kind of guided presence practice. If you can do this. If you can't, then don't worry about it. But if in your car, you can't do this. But I just want you to take a moment and just come back into your body. Wherever you are, settle into your seat or stand with your feet on the ground. And if it's safe, close your eyes, or you can soften your gaze. And just take a deep breath in. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Just keep doing that a couple times on your own. If you're standing, notice your feet on the floor. If you're sitting, feel the weight of the body on your chair. Depending on where you are, you might feel air on your skin. It may be hot, it may be cold, it may be none of the above. And I want you to start to slowly scan your body, starting at the crown of your head. And just envision like a body scan going down from top to bottom. It's starting at your head, it's going through, it's moving down through your face, to your neck, your shoulders. Noticing any areas of tension, warmth, sensation, tightness. As you go through to your chest, to your heart space, into the belly, to the hips, to your legs, and all the way down to your toes. You don't need to do anything else. You don't need to change anything. You just need to notice. This is you, here and now. I'm going to take another deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, and when you're ready, open your eyes. And take this awareness with you into the rest of your day. I hope that you can use this to find a little bit more presence in your life. Start to recognize the sensations in the body and how all of the emotions, whether they are comfortable or uncomfortable, perceived as good or bad, can start helping you as you move through the world. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you tuning in. Have a great day. Bye.
Hey, before you go, would you love to receive my 3-step masterclass to easily create and hold wealth for free? It's called Effortless Money, and it includes the exact framework to start attracting money effortlessly and manifesting abundance with more ease. If you want it for free, all you have to do is leave an honest review of the Wealth Embodied podcast, take a screenshot of this episode and put it in your Instagram stories and tag me at Brianna_Faringer, and we will send you the free Effortless Money Masterclass. This is how my clients have manifested a $13,000 check, a promotion resulting in a $30,000 salary increase, and significantly improved relationships. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you next time on the Wealth Embodied podcast.